arme ou Jan met sy Nederlandse oosvloot, vestig winkel op 'n straat in Kaapstad. Die ANC het 'n gunsteling reël gehad, as dinge verkeerd loop is dit 'n Jan gemaakte ontwerp. Van die moenie trek tot die wennersparade, elke enkele skuld was 'n prys wat Jan betaal het voor koor. O, die geskiedenisboeke kry rus. Ons het 'n nuwe ou gevind om op die proef te stel. Sit die portret weg. Bære die ou veerpin. Daar is 'n splinternuwe skak vir die politieke wetsontwerp. Koor, ons verruil die Jankaart vir 'n Trumpkaart. Dis die blink nuwe manier om die blamspel hard te speel. Gaan die krag uit, is die pad vol gate. Moenie na die begroting of die kieserspeilings kyk nie. Draai net daar die kaart om, sien die goue hare. Die dom is die rede vir die slytasie. Ja, ons verruil vandag die Jankaart vir 'n Trumpkaart. Die infrastruktuur verkrummel, die krane loop leeg. Maar moenie vra hoe en moenie vra hoekom nie. Vergeet die jare van dieselfde ou groep. Die oranje man en Daisy kom vir jou. Ongelykheid styg, dis 'n Mar-a-Lago komplot. Hy is so gemeen en boos, glo dit of nie. Die oorspronklike gangster is uit-ideer, want Jan van Riebeeck is nie meer moordnieuws nie. Brug is die nuwe sondebok. Die vars allebei. Wanneer die beloftes in 'n leuen verander, koers sluit aan. Amerika is gemeen, die wêreld is so koud. Dis die beste storie wat nog ooit vertel is. Kry jou kaart, speel jou deel, gitaar, sing dit is solo. Ons ruil die Jankaart vir 'n Trumpkaart. Dis die blind nuwe manier om die blamspel hard te speel. Gaan die krag uit, is die pad vol gate. Moenie na die begroting of die kieserspeilings kyk nie. Draai net daar die kaart om, sien die goue hare. Die dom is die rede vir die slytasie. Ja, ons ruil vandag die Jankaart vir 'n Trumpkaart. Ons ruil die Jankaart, tot ziens Jan.
Sien jou later,
Hallo Don,
jy's die heide.
dis nou alles sy skuld, elke liewe bietjie daarvan. Kyk na die kaart, baba.
Laaste vonkel in die sentklokkie.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
April 27th, 2026, 32 years to the day that the looting, destruction, and racist reconstruction of South Africa began under the African National Congress, a so-called liberation movement which betrayed the liberation of South Africans, raising the Gini coefficient to highest levels ever under its own governance, the pilfering, the theft of everything. And while they blame everything on poor old Jan van Riebeeck and apartheid, it is their thievery, their corruption, their theft that has brought South Africa to its knees and turned into a gangster state run by construction mafia, taxi mafia, and hitmasters. Well, trading in the on card for the Trump card is so nice, we even have an English version to enjoy. It's not just in Afrikaans. This story is so good, we do it in English and Afrikaans.
For 300 years he was the only name. The guy in the hat to the winner's parade. Every single debt was a price Jan paid. All the history books are getting a rest. We found a new guy to put to the test. Put away the portrait, stow the old quill. There's a brand new villain for the political bill. We're trading in the Jan card for a trump card. It's a shiny new way to play the blame game hard. Is the power going out? Is the road full of holes? Don't look at the budget or the voter polls. Just flip that card. See the golden hair. The dawn's the reason for the wear and tear. Yeah, we're trading in the Jan card for a trump card today. The infrastructure's crumbling, the taps are running dry. But don't ask how, and don't ask why. Forget the years of the same old crew. The orange man in DC is coming for you. Inequality's rising, it's a Mar-a-Lago plot. He's so mean and evil, believe it or not. The original gangster is out of the door, 'cause Jan Van Riebeek isn't trendy no more.
Poor old Jan. Now it's the Don's turn. Come on, ANC. What's your latest excuse?
He's the new scapegoat, the fresh alibi. Whether the promises turn to a lie. America's mean, the world is so cold. It's the greatest story that's ever been told. Get your card, play your part, get a pulse. Just flip that card, see the golden hair. The dawn's the reason for the wear and tear. Yeah, we're trading in the Jan card for a trump card today. Bye bye, Jan. See you later. Hello, Don. You're the hater. It's all his fault now. Every single bit of it. Check the card, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go now to the Cape of Good Hope, to the castle in the mother city of Cape Town, where the president of South Africa is ceremonially turning in his Jan card for a Trump card. Jan van Riebeek has been paroled. He's no longer responsible for all the evils of the ANC. It's now the Don's fault. This news brought to you by Cockprot24. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Let's get started on Freedom Day in South Africa. Freedom from what? Freedom from oppression? Sure. Freedom from starvation? No. Freedom from poverty? No. Freedom from the ANC? Well, maybe that'll come in the municipal elections later this year. We shall see. Biggest areas, guys, white people say, is that we thought we could buck the inevitable slide of South Africa the rest. Yes, Charles, I think that was a bit of arrogance. We saw it in Angola, Mozambique, the DRC, Rhodesia, Zambia, Malawi. We saw it all over. Yes, you are correct about that. All right, there you go, folks. Turning in the Jan card for the Trump card. Welcome back on Monday, April 27th, 32 years to the day that the outright theft, pilfering, and destruction by racist retards began in South Africa. That's right, folks. That's what's been going on. Internal error message. What's going on there? Guy from Mozambique helps clean the garden. Help me clean my small area. Says he's living in fear. Yes, xenophobia is rising in South Africa. So not only is the ANC responsible for the impoverishment of black South Africans and white South Africans and other South Africans, they're also responsible for their failure to address rising xenophobia and stoking that xenophobia with the kicked out members of the retarded party like Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma. Free at last. Thank God. Thank God Almighty, free at last. Yes, big fish, if only that were true. South Africans are hemmed in by racist legislation, which forces them to learn colonial language. Going to primary school will have their property stolen from them with no just compensation, with no just basis whatsoever, and forced to give up their health care so that the hordes can have free health care while they stand in line for days waiting and dying for dialysis. This is the South Africa in the 21st century, led by the government of national unity an amalgamation of 10 political parties, and I don't really understand what the goals of those 10 political parties are. Surely it's not to improve South Africa. No, because that's not what's happening. South Africa continued to slide downward ever since the government of national unity was formed nearly 2 years ago. Foot and mouth disease runs rampant across South Africa. Children continue to starve. Stunting remains a major problem. Mental acuity diminished. And just today, I saw a study from a group of Africans who attempted to disprove the narrative that Africans have low IQs. I've never claimed that. I've never stated that. I've kind of dismissed that story. But unfortunately, they've revealed that in Nigeria, in fact, Africans do have low IQs. Shocking. Shocking. They tested a whole lot of Nigerians, and they found out that most Nigerians have an IQ below 70. Shocking, shocking story, ladies and gentlemen. Can't believe it. 12/12 on the 27th of April 2026. Now, simply reporting that must make you a white supremacist and racist. No. It's the news. The news reported that, not me. So, all right, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. South Africans live in cages behind walls, barbed wire fences, waiting for murderers to come get them. Let's get into it. Here's the news for today. On Freedom Day in South Africa, and the question is, free from what? The international community, including the United States, sends Freedom Day well wishes. Well, of course we sent well wishes. It's diplomatic protocol. Why would we not? South Africa marked 32 years of rapacious theft, racism, and hatred against racial minorities on democracy on Freedom Day, commemorating the first democratic elections, which weren't democratic. You vote for a party, not for a candidate. That is a sham. The U.S. and King Charles both sent their well wishes, while local parties criticized ongoing inequality and lack of safety. So the local parties can criticize what's going on in South Africa, but if I do it, my goodness, if I do it, I'm interfering in South African affairs. Hey, Sloot, shove it where the sun don't shine. On Monday, the country celebrated 32 years of democracy and freedom. It was on 27 April 1994 that black South Africans for the first time got the opportunity to vote for their government after being deprived of this right under the brutal apartheid regime. Ooh, notice brutal. That's an adjective. That's not news. That's opinion. That's opinion. And yes, I would agree, but then I'm a commentator. This is opinion, not news. Cockprot24 spreading their opinion in the news story already in the second paragraph. They can't even help themselves. They're just so demented and dishonest. By the way, they are correct here. They say black South Africans got the right to vote first time, except that's a lie. That is a lie. Black South Africans voted in South Africa around the turn of the 20th century. A small number of them, but black South Africans could vote. So that is a lie. Once again, racist drivel from Cockprot24. Coloreds and Indians voted, and they know that in large numbers, so they couldn't put that in the story. In the 1980s, coloreds and Indians were extended the right to vote on a limited basis. But they can't ignore that. They have to say blacks, because black South Africans, by and large, did not get the right to vote. But black South Africans did vote in South Africa early on. But you see, they lie. They spread rumors. They are race merchants, not a media outlet. So, black Africans will never be free. Freedom is not wealth. Correct. Freedom is not wealth. No, it is not. Mark Myberg, thank you for 35 rand super chat. That is the confusion, the conflation of wealth with economic prosperity and with freedom. Freedom is not that. Freedom is the right to choose to do what you desire, to live your life without interference. That's freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, to gather with who you want to gather with. Freedom of religion. Those are freedoms. Wealth is not freedom. Wealth makes life much more pleasant, but it is not freedom. And the conflation of wealth with freedom, thank you, Mark. There's a thesis for me to work on. Conflation of wealth with freedom is one of the big mistakes in South Africa. Over 3 decades since South Africa's democratic transition, this occasion provides an opportunity to reflect on the country's history and future, says Marco Rubio. I couldn't find that statement. It must be on the website. It wasn't on X. On behalf of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, wishes people of South Africa well as they commemorate the day. As we look forward, we remain open to constructive engagement where our interests align, except the interests don't align because the ANC has racist policies. So nothing's going to happen. King Charles said the Commonwealth's rich diversity and energy of its younger generation continue to inspire hope and progress. In these times of global uncertainty, our collective strength and unity are more vital than ever, said the King. This came as he looked forward to the Commonwealth's heads of government meeting in November, representing the Anglo-Celtic caliphate of the former United Kingdom, the land that's fallen to the Muslim sword. Yes, that would be King Charles, sausage fingers. Now, Business Day says the U.S. signals warm relations. No, that's a rather tepid greeting and presentation. There are no better. Yes, elections were held in Bendable Botswana. Yep, and whites were not allowed to vote. Good point, Peter. I never mentioned that. Thank you for that. Marco Rubio marks Freedom Day anniversary in his first formal public outreach before a month. It's not outreach. I'm sorry, Tondo Mako. You don't understand diplomacy. This is a pro forma. This is what you do in diplomacy. It's just standard practice. You congratulate a country on its Independence Day, on major holidays like this. This is not Washington reaching out. They're simply being diplomatic, something that the ANC is incapable of under its moron, Ronald Lamola. Ronnie the moron. Yeah, they're incapable of that. Calling our president the leader of global white supremacy. Well, Ronald Lamola must be the leader of a regional black supremacy because his brain is trapped somewhere between his ass cheeks. The freedom we enjoyed today was not handed to us, says Ron Post. Oh, my friend, but it was handed to you. It was handed to you on a silver platter. You did not gain freedom. You did not win a war. You did not accomplish anything. You were handed freedom. You were handed freedom. Yes, Mark, I covered South Africa buying U.S. oil. Yes. You were handed freedom. It was just given to you right in your pocket. You didn't earn it. You didn't win on the battlefield. Thank you, ZS6. You didn't win freedom. It was handed to you, given to you. Capitulation by the National Party. They surrendered. And they accepted, the irony, the victors accepted unconditional surrender terms. The surrender monkeys of the National Party surrendered the country and turned it over a cabal of political parties who act in their own interest. If the Democratic Alliance acted in the people's interest, then they would have left the government of national unity over Bella and expropriation on compensation. But they do not act in the people's interest. They act in their own interest. The ANC, of course, acts in its own interest. We know that. You did not enjoy freedom because you earned it. It was handed to you. The freedom we enjoyed today was not handed to us. It was fought for by our people and secured forever by our Constitution. Survey says, lie. We built clinics and hospitals. Where? Provided free health care to pregnant women and young children, reduced child mortality, and increased life expectancy. No. Stop. So, the United States single-handedly raised life expectancy in South Africa with antiretrovirals and billions of dollars of foreign assistance to fight HIV, which you ignored under Thabo Mbeki. Remember Dr. Beetroot? Remember that AIDS is caused by poverty? Do you remember that, Cyril? Boy, you are so bad at rewriting history that we are not going to let you forget this. If anybody raised life expectancy in South Africa, it was the United States and the generosity of the American taxpayer by flooding the country with antiretrovirals and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to fight HIV, which single-handedly raised the the life expectancy rate by double figures. Yes. Well, this isn't cockprop. This is Times Live. This is Cyril Ramaphosa making bogus statements. What a lie. We built clinics. What clinic and school did you build? What hospital has the ANC built in 32 years? Please, somebody show me what hospital they built. Can somebody name a hospital that they built? What hospital today exists in South Africa that wasn't there 33 years ago? Can somebody tell me that? I mean, I'll stand on correction. Happily. I'll do it right now. I'll stand up. Come on. Somebody tell me what hospitals they built. Tembisa. Did they build Tembisa? Or did you just rename it? Which is it? Thank you, Dylan. I'll stand on correction. They built Tembisa. News to me. I thought it pre-existed. They just changed the name. Wow. The National School Nutrition Program feeds more than 9 million learners every single day. Through the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, we have made tertiary education accessible to students from low-income households, while excluding those who are qualified to go to university. Exactly, Charles. They just renamed every hospital that exists today. They didn't create those hospitals. Neff says they built one in Middleburg. All right, well, I stand in correction. Well, then there you go. He told the truth. They built hospitals. Yes, but they've destroyed more than they've built. All right. Well, the National School Nutrition Program feeds 9 million learners every day. So he's proud that the ANC has impoverished so many South Africans, mostly black, that they have to feed 9 million children at school because they're poor. The taxpayer has to feed someone else's children because the ANC has ensured poverty and destruction. Poverty and destruction. The Tembisa Provincial Tertiary Hospital was established in 1972. Thank you. Exactly. Country also has broad-based black economic empowerment scam to expand the participation of black South Africans, women, and persons with disability in the economy, Ramaphosa said. But it doesn't expand anything except the waistlines of the cadres. B, 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 E, 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 E only exists to expand the waistline of crooked, connected cadres. Yes, they did build the Nelson Mandela statue. Yeah, don't confuse hospital built with the private sector with the government net care. Built many hospitals which they abandoned. Yeah. So, Cyril is so full of it. We will not allow our people to take the law into their hands. Excuse me. What country is Cyril Ramaphosa living in? Does anybody know what country he lives in? Apparently, he doesn't live in South Africa. We will not allow people to take the law into their hands. People take the law in their hands every moment in South Africa. Dambisa was there in 1990 when I was still in SAPS. Yep, Mike. We will not allow people to take the law into their own hands. Ramaphosa warns against xenophobia. But his party stokes xenophobia. He called on South Africa to take a stand against xenophobia and uphold the law, warning that concerns over illegal immigration must not turn into prejudice against fellow Africans. Oh, so it's okay for them to violate your sovereignty as long as they're black. Okay, Cyril, gotcha. Well, let's take a look at the reality in South Africa. Dry taps, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 32 years of freedom. Dry tap reality, the growing water crisis in South Africa. In all provinces, unreliable supply, unsafe water, and prolonged interruptions expose systemic failures and weak oversight. Now, speaking of water, I don't speak this language, so if anyone knows this language, I would be grateful for your help for this. Let me play this video for you. Okay, so please tell me if anyone understands what's being said in this video. I know South Africans will understand this, so what is being said in this video?
Shabuze bras. That's what guy means here. Eh? Eh. Eh, ke cancela. Ke metsi ya rona masipala. Hey, I'm going to release. I'm going to let us in sharp. Eh? You'll find out tomorrow morning.
I'm asking because I don't know the provenance of that video. Purportedly, it's an ANC councillor stealing water. Purportedly, that's an ANC councillor stealing water. It does sound like Sotho, but I don't speak Sotho. I know Setswana. But I don't know Sotho, so they are closely related, but I didn't know anything. Ask where does that water come from? It's municipality's water. Yep, thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Yeah, so purportedly that's an ANC councillor stealing water on the eve of Freedom Day. Again, I can't ascertain its veracity, but interesting. I'm going to try to get Wandile Shilobo on the channel because he's supposedly an expert on South African agriculture, and he talks about black agriculture and white agriculture. And he gets an op-ed in the Daily Maverick, and he says that agriculture has been successful. I'm going to make a counter-argument, and that's why I'd like to get him on. He's published several books. It's not Sotho. Okay. All right, well, anyway. Sigi no Swana. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Firefly. Yep. So, let's see what this article talks about. Yeah, Chris, it's how we feel when they don't speak English. It's in a hospital. Yep. All right, so let me get the alert box back on. All those memberships I had to turn off for a moment. Welcome to all the new members. So, how South Africa's agriculture has changed 30 years after apartheid. Now, Wandile Shilobo tries to make a good argument here, and I'm not going to argue his point except for one thing where he talks about agriculture has grown, food security gains. I would disagree with food security gains. But this is one where he says robust employment. Even with the adoption of technologies that catalyze agricultural productivity improvements, employment in South Africa's agriculture sectors remain robust. For example, there were about 922,000 people employed in the industry in 1994, seasonal and permanent. As of 2025, that figure is 950,000. So if you aren't very clever, thank you, Ralph, not for $5 super chat. If you aren't very clever, you would go, wow, that's an extra, 27,000 people working in agriculture. That's incredible. Except in 1994, there were approximately 34 million people in South Africa. So 1 out of 34 people, or 1 out of 35 people was engaged in agriculture, in employment, having a job. Today, there's at least 63 million people, nearly double the population, and the total workforce has gained 27,000. That's not robust employment. That is not robust employment. That is barely even holding your own. That means half as many people on a percentage basis are employed in agriculture, which means agriculture is stagnant. Stagnant. Jobs are not being created in the agricultural sector. He's trying to say industrialization, we still have jobs. Yeah, but that's not germane to the topic at hand. So Wandile, you're welcome to come on the program and discuss this with me. I'd love to talk to you. In celebration of freedom. This is from Mark Haywood, who has a lot of things in here that he talks about. He's very happy about. As South Africa celebrates Freedom Day, this A to Z exploration reveals the myriad reasons to cherish this vibrant nation, from its diverse culture to its rich history of activism. Activism. Is he a gay activist? Does anybody know Mark Hayward? I came to South Africa permanently in 1989, a young man with dreams of revolution and freedom. Revolution. Below is my A to Z list why 37 years I still love South Africa, spliced with articles I've written over the years that consummated time and again our relationship. Activist. He's proud of the activist in South Africa. Bryce, Boerewors, the Bokke, and Bunny Chows. The Comrades Marathon. He's run it 20 times. Congratulations. The Constitution, which means nothing. It's toilet paper. They shit on it every day. And the Cradle of Humankind. That is interesting. We dance. The late Askia Mphalele, one of his teachers. The still free media. Mr. Hayward is smoking something. Hey man, what you smoking over there? Hey, you cannot smoke that. You see, when people zone, they put the paper on the zone. And then they share that zone. Mark Haywood is zolling, man. Free media. The free media. It's not free. It's captured by the elite's interest. The free media. Oh my goodness. What else is he proud of? Our independent judiciary. The independent judiciary, the same one that refuses to uphold the rule of law on hate speech for Kill the Boer, which they previously designated as hate speech back in 2015 or 2011. That same independent judiciary, the same independent judiciary that allowed all the funds from the Tourism Relief Fund to be given to historically disadvantaged South Africans, and then finally it was overturned. But the North Gauteng High Court said it was legal to discriminate against people based on their skin color during COVID. That independent judiciary, please spare me. It's a independent judiciary sometimes when it suits the narrative. Wow. Madiba, obviously. Really? North Beach in Durban, the Otter Trail, Park Run. Queer activism. Oh, he's excited about queer activism. People, led by people like Pumi Mtetwa, Zaki Achmat, Edwin Cameron, and Bev Dietze, that gave us the equality clause in the Constitution. They didn't give us the equality clause in the Constitution. Give me a break. Preventing unfair discrimination on 11 grounds, including sexual orientation and gender. Queer activism. He's excited about queer activism. Robben Island. You're proud of Robben Island? You're excited for South African Robben Island? And he says, it's also for rugby. Give me a break. Soweto. Okay. The Treatment Action Campaign. Now, that's something to actually be proud of. The Two Oceans Marathon, yep. Sorry, I don't love Vanderbilt Park, Vos Loris, or the Val Triangle. Really. And you, the people who endure, don't give up the dream. Well, who is Mark Hayward? He is a social justice activist and a writer. You can find more about his writing at markhaywood.com. He seems very attuned to gay activism. South African human rights and social justice activist based in Johannesburg. Grew up in England. Remember the militant tendency and continued in South Africa as leader of the Marxist workers. There you go. That's all you need to know. He's a communist. Is he a gay communist? I don't know. He seems awfully proud of that gay activism. Well, more great news for South Africa as stunting continues unabated. Now the plan is to try to stop stunting by 2030. The child is measured to prevent stunting. But why are they showing a picture of Asia when they're talking about stunting in South Africa? That is not South Africa. South Africa's pledged to end child stunting by 2030, yet remains stubbornly high at 30%. 30% of children in South Africa are mentally underdeveloped. Lina Sands says, little Pinko used to hang out at UCT during the early 90s. In the State of the Nation address earlier this year, Ramaphosa committed to ending child stunting by 2030. Between 20 and 30% of all South African children are stunted, a condition in which a child is too short for their age due to chronic undernutrition, early child life deprivation. But it's more than that. It's not just height. It's also mental acuity. They don't get enough protein for their brain to develop before the age of 5, and therefore they're mentally deficient and will never achieve what they could have achieved had they been fed properly. 30% of South African children, 32 years under the ANC. There was never any even remotely approaching that figure under the National Party. No one even came remotely close to that figure for child stunting under the MP. 3 men shot dead in a brazen McDonald's attack in Joburg. They just walk in McDonald's and shoot 3 people. Daylight in the CBD. The victims, aged 30 to 45, were having breakfast when 2 masked suspects entered the restaurant at the corner of Jep and Small Streets and opened fire. All 3 men were declared dead at the scene. They are believed to be foreign national shop owners, possibly Somali. So we will not tolerate xenophobia. And right in the face of xenophobia in his comments, they murder 3 Somalis. And then also saw a video earlier, which I won't show on air, of a Ethiopian murdered in a marketplace. Walk up, shot them in the face, and walked away. Xenophobia. Well, more idiocy in South Africa as we celebrate 32 years of freedom. Those who ran the Soweto Marathon haven't been paid their winnings. 5 months after the Soweto Marathon, the race winners have yet to receive their prize money. The sanctioning body, Central Gauteng Athletics, has cut ties with the race and its organizers. So these people scammed them out of money. On November 29th, 2025, the Soweto Marathon, also known as the People's Race, took place. Isn't that ironic? The People's Race. So we don't pay the people. A number of elite athletes participated in the coveted event last year, and those who ran fast enough to the podium would have received a welcome sum of money along with their medal. But it's now April, and the money has still not been paid. Road running queen Gerda Sten, who finished 3rd, confirmed to Metro FM in April that she had still not been paid. But the issue had been brought to the public months before. Sadly, I have not received the prize money. There is very little communication to us athletes, so it is really so disappointing. It's not right. It should not be allowed in any sport event to just leave the athletes without prize money that was promised before the race. Training towards the Soweto Marathon, it's not just the loss of prize money, but it's also the loss of making income from other places. I had to say no to various other races around the world to focus on the Soweto Marathon, but then walk away with nothing to show for it, even though I finished on the podium. Wow. Prize money is typically not processed until the doping results have been finalized. We cannot process payments until the results are officially released to us. The delay is not on our part, but the outstanding doping results. So why are the doping results taking so long? Are you kidding me? They still haven't been paid, was Chief Executive of SAID's Khalid Halant's response when the Daily Maverick called. They used us as an excuse about a month ago, and they told everyone we hadn't given the results. We gave the results in mid-January. Aha. So the doping results were delivered in January, yet they haven't paid. Wow. Onalena Konkobe, who came 3rd in the race, has not received his prize money. It's a well-known South African. This is right. He won both the 2 Oceans and the Soweto Marathon 24 and placed 2nd in this year's 2 Oceans. He told Dame Maverick they haven't a clue what's going on before the race. He said there was constant communication, but the runners were due their money. The radio went silent. Wow. The only thing we know is Soweto Marathon is to pay us after the doping results, and the doping results were released after the race, 3 weeks later. So why aren't they being paid? 30 years later, South Africans are fighting for water under the ANC. 30 years of freedom. The year 1994 finally delivered the promise of liberation, tearing down a racist state that had systemically stripped the majority of South Africans of their basic human rights. The new Constitution was a declaration of freedom, enshrining the right to vote, dignity, and equality. Crucially, Section 27 explicitly guaranteed every citizen access to sufficient food and water. 3 decades later, millions of South Africans that And hard-won freedom is no longer some abstract political ideal. It's a tangible daily fight for survival, often defined by the presence, or more often, the crushing absence of a running tap. No water. No water. Welcome to South Africa, under the ANC. Cyril Ramaphosa says that every rand stolen is an attack on democracy. What about every dollar smuggled into South Africa? What about $580,000, Cyril? $580,000 in U.S. currency. Cyril, can you tell us? Can you tell us? Cyril, tell us about that. Money stuck my sofa,
a treasure untold. Shira's got a game ranch, stories unfold. Pala pala, ritzy joint, glimmer and gold. Stay overnight, don't you stray. Couch cushions hide a rainy day. Pala pala, where the secrets play. Under the cushions, the cash will stay. Pala pala, don't give it away. Rainy day, rainy day. Hey.
Where's the money, Cyril? Show us the money.
Antelope roam where the moonlight beams. Luxury whispers in velvet dreams. Cyril laughs, but nothing's as it seems. Game of chance or a clever scheme. Hidden fortune stitched in the seam. You'll never know till you're caught in the street.
Where did it happen? Where? That's where.
Where the secrets play. Under the cushions, the cash will stay. Pala pala, don't give it away.
Oh, they gave it away. The entire country. April 27, 1994. What about the kidnapping, torture, perversion of the means of justice? $580,000 U.S. currency smuggled in the country. Where are the charges? Where's the investigation? What's going on? What about Pala Pala, Cyril? Tell us. Tell us. Every dollar stolen. Well, what about these dollars imported?
Pala pala, where the secrets play. Under the cushions, the cash will stay. Pala pala, don't give it away. Rainy day, rainy day. Hey.
Arrogance personified. Cyril Ramaphosa. No investigation, no forensics, just perversion of the means of justice at Pala Pala. Cyril says every rand stolen is an attack on democracy, yet his party steals trillions of rands. Every rand stolen is an attack on our democracy. Every project is not complete is betrayal of our community. Sounds like a history of the ANC. We will not rest until those who've hollowed out our institutions, diverted public resource for private gain, are held to account. Really? Well, I have a question. When will you hold those to account who smuggle currency into the country? And that's what we know about, $580,000. What about all the other money that's been smuggled in that we don't know about, Cyril? Where is your Sudanese businessman? Where's that prize bull? Is he still at Pala Pala? Why is there no interest in this in South Africa's captured media? Quiet, silence, silence, silence. Nothing to say. Freedom Day. Well, is it really freedom when nobody bothers to vote? In 2000, only 48% of the population rocked up to vote. In 2006, These are municipal elections. 48%. In 2011, it achieved a whopping 57%. In 2016, it was nearly 58%, 15 million people. But in 2021, just 12 million South Africans rocked up to vote out of 43 million eligible South Africans. So what is democracy if nobody bothers to vote? If people don't exercise their right, black, white, and brown, to vote? It's an absolute joke. For people who claim that they suffered, they didn't have the right to vote, we finally have the right to vote, and they don't come to the polls. What a joke. What an absolute joke. I have voted in every single election in my life, regardless of whether I was living in Botswana, in Tunisia, in Germany, in Italy, in Arizona, in Maryland. I voted every single time I could vote, my adult life. In fact, I was denied the right to vote when I was 18, my first election, which was a primary. And I rushed to the courthouse moments before the polls closed and demanded the right to vote, and voted by provisional ballot. These people don't care about voting. They don't care about governance. They just want things handed to them. This is what people want. Things handed to them. Well, that's Freedom Day for South Africans, and let's move on to other pastures. Well, the Fishrot scandal in Namibia is still floating out there. Namibian Angola's fishing scandal, where ministers will go on trial finally. Before Al Jazeera released its documentary Fishrot, many Namibians had no idea the scale of the corruption. Well, I knew, and I reported on the 2019 documentary, which aired days before the national election, exposed how Icelandic fishing company Samhera paid millions of dollars in bribes to Namibian officials linked to the governing SWAPO for fishing quotas between 2012 and 2019. Whistleblower Johannes Stefansson alleged the company used offshore tax havens to bribe senior officials for massive horse mackerel quotas. 6 years later, the case is now before the Namibian High Court, including those implicated: former Marine Resources Minister Bernhard Esau, former Attorney General and Namibian Justice Minister Saki Shangala, and prominent businessman and erstwhile managing director of the investment firm Investec Asset Management, James Hatu Kulupi. Others include former Fish Corps CEO Mike Nikapuma, Tamsin Fidi Hakalupe, I can't pronounce these freaking names, Ricardo Gustavo. Yes, the list goes on, to Nigel van Wyk. Yes, they stole and pilfered and harmed the fishing industry and harmed Namibians and Angolans. Well, I'd love more details of the Fishrot scandal. I've been covering it since before 2019, but I wasn't on YouTube then. I was doing it privately. IAC is an ANC-run operation. Will never be freedom, says Martin. Global military spending hit nearly $3 trillion in 2025. The United States remained the largest spender despite a multi-billion-dollar reduction in military aid to Ukraine. Global military expenditure rose nearly 3% to $2.89 trillion in 2025, the 11th consecutive year of growth, despite a 7.5% decline in the U.S. So, China and Russia also big spenders. China remained the world's second largest spender, lifting its budget by 7% to $336 billion for the 31st consecutive year of growth in its defense budget. Third place, Russia military expenditure reached an estimated $190 billion, up 6% year on year. Wow. Tiny Ukraine was the seventh largest spender, increased its budget by 20% to $84 billion, or 40% of its GDP. Wow. Belgium saw the largest increase among European NATO countries with a 59% increase in spending to $14 billion, while Spain's expenditure rocketed 50% to $40 billion, pushing it above 2% market GDP for the first time since 1994. Denmark and Norway also recorded a percentage increase in spending in the high 40s, while Sweden, Italy, and Poland posted 20% rises. These freeloaders are finally starting to spend money for their own defense. It's long overdue. Long overdue. Well, after the Taiwanese president was shunted and stunned and pushed aside by demented crap weasels in 3 Pacific Island nations and African nations to prevent him from going to Eswatini, the foreign minister arrives. President Lee Chang-te cancels trip after Seychelles, Mauritius, and Madagascar all blocked overflight permission, interfering with international aviation to appease their Chinese overlords and masters, licking the boots of the Chinese communists, were the officials in Seychelles, Mauritius, and Madagascar. All 3 countries should be called out for their cowardice. Foreign Minister from Thailand, Lin Changlung, arrived in Eswatini saying Taipei will not be held back by authoritarian forces after the government accused China of pressuring 3 African states to block overflight permission for President Lee Chang-te. Taiwan said last week that Seychelles, Mauritius, and Madagascar unilaterally revoked flight permits for its presidential aircraft to cross their airspace on a planned trip to Eswatini. Eswatini is one of Taiwan's 12 diplomatic allies. It was the first time a Taiwan president canceled an entire trip due to foreign interference in airspace. The Chinese communists prevented Taiwan's president. China should be sanctioned for their actions. And those three countries, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Comoros, should be punished for their cowardice. Heavily armed police block an anti-Mnangagwa protest in Harare. Last month, Zimbabwean Speaker of Parliament Jacob Manundo was also in the ruling ZANU Secretary for Administration, gazetted a constitutional amendment bill that would allow Mnangagwa to extend his rule by 2 years, and people are not happy with it. Heavily armed police blocked protests and arrested 7 MDC, Movement for Democratic Change members. They arrested 7 members of our party and banned our protest. Our members, who were also distributing the flyers, were abducted and tortured by state spy agents. I'm sorry to tell the Movement for Democratic Change the death of Morgan Tsvangirai and Roy Bennett. Nobody cares about the MDC. Nobody cares about Zimbabwe. The world has moved on. You will continue to suffer under the oppressive yoke of the racist, murdering thugs in ZANU PF until the day you overthrow them. Once that happens, the world will probably talk to you. But in the meantime, no one other than the Chinese care about Zimbabwe, and they only want your minerals. You are done here and hope you out by year end. Done here what? On the program, Henry? Fighting over access to water in Chad leaves at least 42 people dead. The army had to intervene. The dispute over water spirals into deadly reprisals, but government says the situation is under control. Really? 42 dead people, it's under control? I've never seen a country where people put their medals on their sleeve. That's interesting. At least 42 people have been killed in eastern Chad after a dispute between 2 families over access to water escalated into reprisal attacks. Deputy Prime Minister Limane Mamat confirmed the total killed during a visit of money to the village of Ligote is in the Wadi Fira province near the Sudanese border. Wow. The violence comes as Chad faces mounting pressure from the war in neighboring Sudan. The war in Sudan has killed at least 40,000 people, according to the United Nations. Well, it gets worse in West Africa, where Mali's corrupt military government is facing pressure. Mali's defense minister killed amidst fresh fighting between the army and rebels. Mali's defense minister, Sadio Kamara, along with family members, died in a car bomb attack on his home amid ongoing battles between the army and jihadist fighters. The attacks, orchestrated by Tuareg rebels of the Azawad Liberation Front and the jihadist group for the support of Islam and Muslims, have intensified the pressure on Mali's ruling junta. The situation remains tense with ongoing fighting in several regions. Wow. Killed by a car bomb. Mali's been ravaged by more than a decade of conflict and military juntas. Insurgents hit military bases in a complex attack, and the airport is shut in Mali. There's a Malian soldier in a defensive position. Insurgents launched attacks in Mali's capital and other locations across the country on Saturday, with the army urging people to remain calm as the military-led government faced one of its biggest operations yet in a long campaign against it. A UN security note said there had been simultaneous complex attacks in Kati, near Bamako's airport, and in cities and towns further north, including Mboti, Gao, and Kidal. The U.S. Embassy in Mali urged its citizens to shelter in place. 2 explosions and sustained gunfire were heard shortly before 6 a.m. near the main military base, Kati. There's gunfire everywhere. Well, is the military going to be overthrown by insurgents? Well, they illicitly stole democracy, and now someone's trying to steal it back. Terrorist groups and intense fighting, that's what they call them. Mali's army is battling coordinated attacks by suspected jihadist groups in and around Bamako. The Azawad Liberation Front claims it has seized the northern city of Kidal though this remains unverified. Things looking bad. Things looking bad in Mali. Rival groups join forces against the illegal military government. What's next? Armed groups of differing ideologies have launched coordinated attacks across Mali. Can they stay united? Since gaining independence from French rule back in 1960, the West African nation has navigated cycles of political instability punctuated by persistent attacks from armed groups, military coups, and financial crises. On Saturday, an al-Qaeda-linked group, Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal al-Muslimin Jinim, claimed responsibility for attacks on military sites across the country. And they did so in a coordinated operation with the Azawad Liberation Front, a Tuareg-dominated rebel group. So there you go. Wow. Mali. No peace. But, of course, it's all colonialism's fault, those evil Europeans. The French are responsible for this, of course, right? It's been going on for millennia. But we'll blame colonialism. Iran wants the deal to lift the Hormuz blockade. Well, get screwed. Iran's foreign minister is in Russia to meet with Vladimir Putin. President Trump said peace talks could happen by phone. Iran has presented regional mediators with a new offer to stop its attacks on ships. The proposal presented by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi during his tour of the region is designed to break the deadlock in the conflict and sets talks back in motion. President Trump said he isn't sending envoys to Pakistan and that negotiations could happen over the phone. If they want to talk, they can come to us or they can call us, he told Fox News. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said the U.S. was being humiliated by Iran and didn't have a convincing strategy in the conflict. Humiliated by Iran. The pussy government of Berlin is humiliated by criminal alien invaders who sexually assault and rape German women and live off the dole, reproducing like rabbits. Chancellor Merz, Germany is humiliated by its political incompetence. What a moron. Who chose this guy? You go back to the Bundestag. Humiliated. I'll tell you what. We should let the Germans been over by the Russians. They'd all be Russian now. Should just let them have it. The U.S. achieved none of its war goals, says Araghchi. Iran's foreign minister Araghchi said that the U.S., the world's greatest superpower, has achieved none of its war goals, and this is why it's requesting negotiations. We're not requesting negotiations. And then this wuss, Merz, the German Chancellor of the United States, has no clear exit strategy in its war in Iran, suggests the entire nation is being humiliated by the Iranian leadership. Merz said he did not believe the U.S. could end the war in Iran quickly because the Iranians are obviously stronger than expected. The Americans clearly don't have a truly convincing strategy in negotiations either. Well, and what strategy does Friedrich Merz have in kicking out 12 million illegals in Germany? Does he have a strategy? No. The Germans must suffer the invasion of alien religions and peoples. Gaza holds its first local election in 20 years. But wait, I thought there was... Wait, no. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could somebody call the ANC? Could somebody please call the ANC? You might want to take your genocide case back. You see, if there's a genocide in an effort to wipe out a people, then there'd be no people to vote. But for the first time in 20 years, there's an election in Gaza. But who's going to vote? There was a genocide. All the Palestinians were wiped out. There was a concerted effort by the Israelis to eliminate the Palestinians. Didn't we hear this in the UK? By the leftist hate wankers in America and the ANC. But how can there be a genocide when there's people left to vote? I'm so confused. Somebody from the ANC, please explain to me what's going on. Ronald Lamola, please educate me. I'm so confused. What is happening here? This must be fake news. Well, it comes from the Wall Street Journal, something I paid $50 a month to have a subscription to. Good Lord. The vote was largely symbolic, given but Palestinians' opportunity to express a desire for change. One Gazan city held elections for the first time in more than 20 years, so again, a largely symbolic vote that allowed some Palestinians to express a desire for change. The central Gazan city of Deir al-Balah voted on a list of candidates that were seen as associated with various clans and political groups. Hamas wasn't on the ballot, even though they control 50% of Gaza. Turnout at the election was very low, just 23% of the 70,000 eligible voters. But that's a consequence of living conditions. But I'm so confused. There's a genocide, but there's people left to vote. How does that happen in the midst of a genocide? It's so confusing. Maybe Lutuli House can explain it to us. Well, check this out. This is a shocking development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is taking place in Denmark. Now, this is German news, but Denmark is telling us the following. This is shocking. Listen to this. Now, it's in German. So, I know I read the news in English, German, French, and Afrikaans daily. This is German, but there is English translation at the bottom. So look what they're doing in Denmark. This is from a leftist. Check it out.
Dänemark prescht jetzt bei Abschiebungen vor. Alle Migranten, die zu einem Jahr Haft oder mehr verurteilt wurden, müssen zurück in ihr Heimatland. Und zwar automatisch, ganz ohne Einzelfallprüfung, wie das sonst ja notwendig ist. Damit verstößt die dänische Regierung laut Experten aber klar gegen die Europäische Menschenrechtskonvention. Bis die geändert ist, will Dänemark aber schlichtweg nicht mehr warten.
Es sind ungewöhnliche Worte für eine Sozialdemokratin. Die dänische Regierungschefin Mette Frederiksen verschärft den Migrationskurs. Dabei macht sie klar, für kriminelle Ausländer ist kein Platz in Dänemark.
Sie vergewaltigen Mädchen und Frauen. Sie sind in Bandenkriminalität und Drogenkriminalität verwickelt. Leider konnten wir sie bisher nicht abschieben. Dies liegt in erster Linie an der Auslegung der Europäischen Menschenrechtskonvention. Diese nimmt mehr Rücksicht auf den Täter als auf das Opfer.
Ausländische Straftäter sollen bei Haftstrafen von mindestens einem Jahr automatisch abgeschoben werden. Die Änderungen sollen bereits mit 1. Mai in Kraft treten.
What? A leftist is kicking illegal aliens out of the country, but only after they rape and murder women and girls? Wow. What happened in Europe? Are they waking up? Are they waking up? They don't have human rights. They're animals. They should be deported or executed for their crimes. Ugh. It's been 40 years since Chernobyl, folks. Wow. The rusted Ferris wheel at Pripyat, Ukraine, stands frozen in time, a creaking symbol of the Soviet city abandoned in April 1986. 4 decades after the world's worst nuclear disaster, the danger is no longer just historical. 40 years after the explosion of reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the site remains one of the most complex nuclear cleanup operations on Earth. 4 years into Russia's invasion of its neighbor, that containment is under strain. A massive steel arch known as the New Safe confinement, completed back in 2016 for $2.3 billion, was designed to seal in the radioactive remains of the reactor for a century. Built with international funding and engineering, it covers the original Soviet sarcophagus, hastily erected after the explosion. The stone coffin was meant to withstand time and weather, not missile strikes. That distinction became clear on February 14th last year. A Russian drone strike hit the upper section of the arch. The impact caused a fire and damaged layers of metal coating insulation critical to maintain structure airtight seal. Wow. They estimate it will cost $586 million to fix the damage that the Russian drone did. One drone did $586 million of damage. I mean, the only organization I know that's more capable of doing damage through its negligence is the African National Congress. Yep, wow. 40 years. The United States military has struck another drug boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 3. Footage posted by U.S. military showed the vessel moving rapidly before it was struck and engulfed in flames. 3 male narco-terrorists were killed during this action. No U.S. military forces were harmed. Second such strike in days after the April 24th attack in which U.S. forces struck a suspected drug trafficking vessel in the Eastern Pacific, resulting in 2 deaths. Canada says its gold is traceable and clean. But it's a lie. It's a lie. Canadians lied. That's right, folks. A New York Times investigation into the origins, the provenance of gold sold in Canada finds out that, in fact, it's coming from these illicit mining operations in Colombia. This illegal mine in Colombia sells gold into the Royal Canadian Mint's supply chain. Look at that. In the shadowy global gold industry where terrorists, drug dealers, and dictators launder illegally mined gold into the mainstream market, one major supplier says buyers can count on its product to be clean and ethically sourced. The Royal Canadian Mint says it can trace all of its gold back to its origins with cutting-edge technologies, including a Bitcoin-like software it calls Bullion Genesis. The mint, which is backed by the Canadian government, assures buyers that it does not refine gold linked to illegitimate non-state armed groups. It's all North American, predominantly Canada, said the Mint's refining chief, Rob Sargent. But what Canadians call North American gold includes gold from a swirl of faraway sources, including Colombian mines controlled by the Clan del Golfo drug cartel. No. Really? Indeed. The gold the Canadian Mint is selling is actually mined illegally. Mined illegally by drug cartels. And they claim it's clean. So, the Kimberley process, gold certification, poppycock. Canada will launch a sovereign wealth fund. The Canada Strong Fund will start with $18.3 billion endowment. Canada intends to launch the first sovereign wealth fund, Prime Minister Mark Carney says, as part of the government's drive to build trade corridors and develop resource projects to ease the economic squeeze posed by President Trump's trade policy. He said the sovereign wealth fund would invest in equity alongside private sector proponents in large energy infrastructure, mining, and agricultural projects. The fund, to be called Canada Strong Fund, would start with an endowment of 25 billion Canadian dollars. Well, good luck with that, Canada. Good luck with that. When you stop committing trade war against us, then maybe we can be friends again. President Trump is hosting sausage fingers. The leader of the Celtic Anglo Caliphate is arriving in Washington, D.C. with his second wife, after the first one died tragically in a Paris tunnel. King Charles III and Queen Camilla were scheduled to arrive in Washington today for a 4-day state visit to celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence. The war with Iran has put a considerable strain on the U.S.-British relationship. Well, the presence of Keir Starmer and the failed policies of the cowardly, pseudo-leftist Conservative Party that failed Brits is the one major reason for it. So Sausage Fingers is in Washington, D.C. today. Hope he enjoys himself. President Trump labels the attempted assassin as, well, reading his manifesto is a disgrace. CBS News apparently read his manifesto. President Trump called CBS News anchor Norah O'Donnell a disgrace during a 60 Minutes interview Sunday after she read a passage from the White House Correspondents' Dinner's Gunman's manifesto, which appeared to label President Trump as a pedo, a rapist, and a traitor. He's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things. You shouldn't be reading that in 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview. Law enforcement officials said the suspect, Cole Thomas Allen, a 31-year-old retard from Torrance, California, left behind a manifesto, described himself as a friendly federal assassin, targeting members of the Trump administration from the highest ranking to the lowest. I'm no longer willing to permit a pedo, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Dafatai. Dafatai subscribe. Well, Dafatai, that's good. Correspondence dinner. Shooting suspect called himself a friendly federal assassin. Part-time teacher. Who allows idiots like this to teach? Booked a hotel room at the Washington Hilton weeks in advance, traveled by train from his home outside Los Angeles to Chicago and then D.C. As he stormed the security perimeter, exchanging gunfire with Secret Service agents, 31-year-old suspected shooter aimed to target top officials, including possibly the president himself. Those details about the man allegedly involved in the shooting that forced the evacuation of Trump and several members of his cabinet from the event worked to gather information on the suspect gunman and what has motivated his attack. There he is. Ah, look. That's obviously a right-wing white racist, white supremacist. Look at him. Obviously a white supremacist. Apparently this is the fourth time they've tried to murder Trump. Fourth attempt on President Trump's life raises fresh questions about Trump derangement syndrome. It also raises fresh questions, ladies and gentlemen, about the incompetence of the Secret Service. Now, they're going to praise them for their response, but this building had piss-poor security, and it wasn't secured properly. It's fortunate that they stopped him at the Magnometer. Piss-poor security. This is the fourth time they've tried to murder President Trump, and nearly accomplished it in Butler, Pennsylvania. Who is behind this? Is it shadowy figures in the government? Alex Jones would probably come up with such a conspiracy theory. But I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know, what the hell is going on here? 4 people have tried to kill President Trump in less than 2 years, an unprecedented record that some blame on the left wing's virulent demonization of the president, otherwise known as Trump derangement syndrome. Soon after the Secret Service took down the gunman who attempted to storm Washington Hilton, where Trump and members of the administration were seated, the president was ready to go back to his table and resume the White House Correspondents' Dinner, as if it never happened. After all, attempts on Trump's life have almost become a regular occurrence. Critics say it's likely driven by nonstop rhetoric from his opponents on the left who accuse the president of being a pedo, a fascist, a bully, an authoritarian, a traitor, and a threat to democracy. Republican National Committee Chairman Joe Gruthers said on Sunday, called the attack the inevitable result of a radicalized left that has normalized political violence, and I would agree. Ro Khanna, a California Democrat in part responsible for this nonsense, called for a bipartisan commission to examine political violence. He said we should look at mental health issues. In fact, you should. You should, and start with membership in the Democratic Party. That would help you determine what this is. The left's verbal attacks on Trump become more heated since he took off the second time. Just days ago, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called for maximum warfare everywhere all the time against Trump. And he sits in Congress. He should be sanctioned for his conduct. Supreme Court reviews police use of cell location data. Interesting, they're trying to protect privacy rights under the Fourth Amendment. When the Call Federal Credit Union outside Richmond, Virginia was robbed at gunpoint in 2019, the suspect stole $195,000 from the vault and fled. A detective interviewed witnesses and reviewed the bank's security footage, but with no leads, the officer relied on a so-called geofence warrant to sweep up location data from all cell phones in the vicinity of the bank for the 30 minutes before and after the robbery. The data he gathered eventually led to the identification and conviction of Okela T. Chantry, a 31-year-old Jamaican immigrant, is he immigrant or is he illegal, who came to America in 2017 to commit his crimes. Geofence search has become increasingly popular as a tool for law enforcement, but critics say they put at risk personal data of everyday Americans and violate the Constitution. Mr. Chantry challenged the use of geofence warrant in his conviction in a case that will be heard by the Supreme Court on Monday. It's been 8 years since the court last took up a major Fourth Amendment case involving the expectation of privacy for the millions of people carrying cell phones in the digital age. In that case, court ruled the government generally needs a warrant to collect location data. Well, they should need a warrant for this too. And Mark Myberg asked a very good question. Are these shooters mainstream media maniacs or Democrats? Or is it the same thing? Supreme Court lifts a lower court block on the new Texas congressional maps. Texas congressional map will go forward and it will apply in November, meaning seats will be gained by the Republicans most likely. The ruling means the new map favors Republicans will remain in place for the November congressional elections. Supreme Court today reversed a lower court ruling that blocked Texas from implementing its mid-decade redistricting of the state's congressional map. The High Court's decision, which means the map will be used in elections this November, took the form of an unsigned order in Abbott versus League of United Latin American Citizens. Justice Sotomayor, Atlanta Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, all demented lunatics, dissented, of course. The new ruling came after the Supreme Court upheld a redrawn district map, expecting increased Republican representation. New order states the lower court was being set aside for the reasons set forth in the December decision. So the lower court attempted to overrule the Supreme Court, and they've been put back in their place. That's the bottom line with that story. Supreme Court will hear a landmark case for the Roundup weed killer situation. German company Bayer, the aspirin inventor, is fighting this. They purchased the company that produces Roundup back in 2018, and in a landmark case, they agreed to pay out a massive class action lawsuit of $7.25 billion, and the government has come around to supporting the position to dismiss this case. There is no scientific proven evidence that it causes cancer, according to the defendants, and this case is likely to be won by Bayer, thereby overturning judgments against him, but they've still paid the class action lawsuit. The mother of a slain Virginia woman seeks the ouster of Fairfax County prosecutor over illegal immigrant stance. This man is supporting criminal alien invaders who murdered this lovely woman. Stephanie Minter was fatally stabbed near a Fairfax County bus shelter in February. Her mother, Cheryl Minter, says she wants Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney Steve Descamp removed from office for past campaign statements about not prosecuting criminal alien invaders. Cheryl Minter, with the help of the Victims' Rights Reform Council, submitted a federal civil rights complaint asking the Department of Justice to probe Commonwealth Attorney Steve Descano over what the filing calls preferential treatment for illegal immigrants over native-born citizens. The complaint notes the suspect and daughter Stephanie Minter slaying a Sierra Leone national, Abdul Jolah, avoided time behind bars despite more than 30 arrests on charges like rape and stabbing. What makes them any different than any other criminal out there? Why are illegals getting away with it when nobody else can? Why is Descano getting away with doing what he's doing? Police said Jolla fatally stabbed Stephanie Minter, 41, at random in February near a bus shelter in the Alexandria portion of Fairfax County. Department of Homeland Security said Jolla came to the U.S. illegally in 2012 and had an ICE detainer lodged against him in 2020. A federal judge issued a final order of removal to a country other than Sierra Leone. Wow. So illegal aliens are treated better than American criminals. United Airlines has abandoned its effort to buy American Airlines. Thank goodness. Less competition is not what we need. American has rejected the proposal to combine two of the world's largest carriers. United Airlines chief executive said a merger with American Airlines would have been transformational. Yes, you would have stolen all our money for flights, but it isn't going to happen. American won't engage. On Monday, United CEO Scott Kirby, who's a scumbag, outlined his airline's case for buying American, an ambitious deal that would have brought together two of the top carriers in the U.S. He acknowledged high hurdles in moving forward, especially with America unwilling to engage. In a statement Monday, Kirby said, given Americans' public aversion to the merger, the deal is off the table. Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Scott Kirby is the scumbag who fired his pilots when they wouldn't wear their mask during the COVID scam. President Trump officials hire deportation judges with less training experience. So what? The president is remaking courts to clear a backlog of asylum cases. Yes, so they're upset that these judges don't have past immigration experience, but they have legal expertise. What's the problem? The recruits are being offered signing bonuses, the opportunity to work from home, and even the flexibility to keep their day jobs and moonlight as judges after hours. New hires can earn up to $207,500 a year and 25% signing bonuses in some Democratic-led states, such as California. 2/3 of the new judges have no immigration law experience listed on their online biographies, a break from previous years. Well, that's not entirely a break. 24% of previous judges had no experience in immigration cases. They're just trying to delegitimize what Trump is doing by speeding along the process to get these criminal alien invaders out of our country with their false asylum claims. California billionaire tax. They claim they have 1.5 million signatures to steal 5% of the wealth of people who have $1.5 billion. And they're going to use it to pay for other people's health care. These are just thieves. Supporters have collected more than 1.5 million signatures on petitions that call for a vote on the proposed tax. The group backing the measure intends to announce on Monday when they will submit the signatures to election officials. If approved to go on the ballot, the proposal will kick off an expensive election fight that will tap into voter anxieties about economic inequality as well as concerns from business leaders that California could lose its luster as a cradle of technological innovation. Powerful people, including Governor Newsom and numerous Silicon Valley executives, have vowed to fight the proposal, while Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont has endorsed it. Well, Senator Bernie Sanders can shut his cake hole. You're not in California. You endorsing it? Shut up. Nobody cares what you have to say, Bernie. Go back to your 2 pairs of underwear. South Carolina's measles outbreak is declared over. A months-long measles outbreak in South Carolina has ended. The last confirmed case related to the outbreak was reported March 15th. 42 days had elapsed since at least one new case. That means it's over. The period of time would double the number of days for an incubation period and would be clear indication that the transmission chain was broken. Some 997 cases were ultimately linked to the outbreak, which started in mid-2025 in upstate South Carolina and primarily remained within Spartanburg County. Well, why is this? Because people are not getting immunizations, and also illegal aliens are flooding our country, bringing pestilence with them. Yep. Of the 997 people who were infected, 932 had not received a measles vaccine, according to state. 46 had received a dose of measles vaccine. That's odd. So it's not foolproof. South Carolina's measles outbreak, deadly 13th century diseases which were eradicated in America have made a comeback because of illegal criminal invasion of America and the lunacy of idiots in not taking vaccines. One of the rich answers Zoran the moron's insult. The mayor went after Ken Griffin by name. It will cost New York City billions. To promote the idea of a tiered tax in New York, Mayor Zoran the moron Mamdani, the Muslim Islamist in chief, recently chose to personally attack one property holder while suggesting that owners in second homes in the city don't contribute to it. We're taxing the rich, Zoran the moron said in an online video, gesturing towards this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. So, they are upset that he bought a penthouse for $238 million. That call-out was nasty and unfair, and the Citadel CEO might not take it lying down. We are about to commence the redevelopment of 350 Park Avenue, creating 6,000 highly paid construction jobs and supporting the creation of more than 15,000 permanent jobs in Midtown New York. Gerald Beeson, Citadel's chief operating officer, wrote employees yesterday. The project, if we move forward, will entail more than $6 billion in spending, if it goes forward. In attacking Ken Griffin, the Zoran the moron may have just cost New York City 15,000 jobs, $6 billion of investment, and 6,000 construction jobs. Well done. Well done. Well done. Wow. Wow. According to Mr. Beeson, his boss has made $650 million charitable gifts to benefiting New York. There's the Griffin Atrium at the Museum of Natural History, the Griffin Sidewalk Studio at Lincoln Center, and the coming Griffin Pavilion Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Stigmatizing the rich by name is popular on the left these days, in the manner advised by Saul Alinsky. It's good to see at least someone fighting back. Well, so Zoran the moron may have just cost his city. He's given $650 million of his wealth to the city for charitable causes. And because he buys a penthouse for $238 million, their problem? They're upset? Wow. Unbelievable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's some good news as we wrap up our final news story before we go on to a question and answer session and chat. Here's some good news. The hardest working staff at an airport, check out these two. They are the hardest working staff at this airport. You ready for this? You're going to love this story. Border Collies Hercules and Ned help protect planes and passengers from bird strikes. There they are. Ned on the left and Hercules on the right take a break from work at the West Virginia International Yeager Airport, where they patrol and clear wildlife from the airport runaways. They chase away birds to prevent bird strikes. Wildlife Patrol at West Virginia International Yeager Airport, named after Chuck Yeager, has gone to the dogs, specifically to two border collies, Hercules and Ned. 5 days a week and sometimes weekends, the herding dogs punch the clock and go to work clearing birds and woodland creatures from the mountaintop airfield. Their job as wildlife canines is critical to protecting planes and passengers. Collisions with local fauna is a real thing and a rising threat. Between 1990 and 2024, the Federal Aviation Administration received reports of 313,716 strikes, including 25 accidents that caused 52 human deaths. In 2024, the agency registered 22,372 collisions, a 14% increase from the previous year. Since the dogs joined the wildlife management team, Hercules in 2018 and Ned in 2024, bird strikes have declined by more than 70%. Wow. As of January, the airport has submitted only one incident to the agency, a brush with a common grackle. And there they are. Border collies are so intelligent, can endure the heat and cold really well. They're full of energy and like to do their job because they're herding dogs. It's born in them. The 9-year-old Hercules owes his livelihood to Piper, the border colony who chased 9,347 birds over 6,206 hours at the Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City, Michigan. Piper died of cancer in 2018. Wow. There you go, folks. Since introducing Hercules and later Ned on social media, the pups have gained celebrity status with 72,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, preparing the dogs for duty. Here they are. Border collies. 6:49 in the morning, they arrive at the airport. Wow. First runs of the day. Here they're going out. They jump in the back of a white SUV and blaze with the logo of the goggled dogs. Here they are. Airport Wildlife Patrol. Here he is out at the airfield with the dogs just waiting to chase something away. Just chilling. Hercules takes a break on the cool floor of the command center, just chilling out. They go along with him the whole day. Here they are, Hercules saying hello to a passenger at the airport. Look at them, they're wearing goggles, man. Look at Hercules on the left wearing goggles at the airport. That's a good news story there. So something good to news. We wrap up our news for today. Freedom Day in South Africa, the 27th of April, 2026, 32 years after the ANC took over the country and began to drive it into oblivion. All right, highly intelligent. Yep, delighted that you enjoyed the South African. Did see them videos. Yeah, Carl, what do you mean did see the videos? What do you mean did see the videos? I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to be more explicit. I don't know what videos you're referring to. Big cuddles and extra treats for them. They're such hard workers, loyal, and in my opinion, animals are the only creatures capable of unconditional love. Yep. Jennifer says, no freedom in South Africa. That's so sweet. Border collies, yeah, their temperament's nice. Please beware of a dangerous plot hatched against you in a group where you are defamed and played off against that woman. BBC involved. BBC involved. Really? Let me see what's going on. What the hell's all this? Okay. I don't see where I fit in these steps. Someone says I fit in these. I don't see. Where do I fit in a scheme? I don't understand this. I don't understand what's going on here. Proof that something's been sent to me. I don't know what this is about. I don't understand what this is about. Wow. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. So I need someone to be clear about what they're talking about here. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm looking to see if my mods have sent me something here. Okay, that's not legitimate. Okay, I don't know. People are saying sent to my mods. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the videos you brought. Well, Carl, how do you know what the videos of the Bri are? I don't know what videos there are. Did you get them from my moderators? I sent some videos to my moderators. You're welcome, Annie. Rianne's been unsubscribed. They do that because it's called shadow banning. They harm channels seriously. Yep. I don't know, Anonymous. I'm not paying attention to Miss Heartburn. Yeah, okay. Carl, it's fine. You can watch when you want. It's fine. Okay. What the hell does that mean? Why is... That's very rude, Carl. No offense meant, but you're rude to me. What is that all about? I don't get that. Come on. Don't get that at all. What's your deal, man? How do you get off being rude to me like that? Australia nearly lost to New Zealand. All right, thanks for sharing, Andre. Okay, Sally, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to be more explicit with that. Okay. Been listening to German songs on Spotify. Okay. All right, moment of silence for all the stupid people in New York who voted out that idiot. Andre said he'd get his shots again. I don't know. Why would you have to get shots again? It doesn't make any sense. Why does the administration defend us? I don't know. I don't know why they defend him. They keep screwing up. HP said, please be aware of a dangerous plot being hatched against you in a group where you're defamed and played off against that woman. BBC involved. Okay, so the British Broadcasting Corporation is involved? What are you guys talking about? Where's their search button at? Do they have a search button? I can't find a search button on this useless website. There's no search button on their website. How am I supposed to get into the website? Okay, now there's the search button over here. No, there's nothing with the BBC, so I don't know what that's about. At least nothing yet. Who is rude to POTUS? Oh, the Nora O'Donnell. Yeah, she's just a rude person. Okay, HP, why do you keep typing the same thing in here? Went from employed to unemployed because Minister of Fisheries was angry for not receiving bribes to doing his job when he was being paid to taxpayers. Oh, you're talking about the fisheries, yeah. This year, first year, they contact me to register. Let's vote. Okay. Okay, all right. I think I'm caught up with the chat as far back as I can go now. All right, well, somebody download the videos for a lawsuit then. Just download the videos for a lawsuit. Check your website for one of your mods. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. I looked. Criminal empires ramping up efforts against civilians. Okay, thank you for that, Pat Meister. Cultural orientation this afternoon, almost time to leave. Okay, well, thank you, Candace. I don't know what that acknowledgement resettlement proceedings. What is that? What did we drink on Saturday? Well, Mad Max and I were just relaxing. We didn't have anything to drink. We were judges in the poiki. And someone asked a question about the poiki here. I did enjoy the oxtail that I had, even though I don't eat oxtail. But the lamb shank was the winning one, and that was really, really good. So, yep. I'm sorry, Meerkat. You see me having trouble with my videos. I don't know why. Madam Heartburn. Yeah. You're welcome, Sammy, for the news. Okay, HP sent me a WhatsApp. I don't know anyone named HP. I'll look. Oh, okay. Read slowly later. All right. Okay. Oh, so somebody sent me, the person making videos seems to be a counselor. Oh, okay. When the video starts, he asks the person in the truck, where does the water come from? The person answers something inaudible. The counselor then says, I'm a counselor, and this is our municipality's water. Okay, so no, the counselor is not stealing water. See, that's why I said I don't know the provenance of the video. I don't know what's being said here. The accusation online is that the counselor was stealing water. In fact, the counselor is trying to stop water from being stolen. Okay. Basically confesses to stealing by saying we're just trying to make ends meet. They're definitely speaking Soweto. Yep, okay. All right, cool. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So that's the problem with stuff posted online. I didn't know what to trust. Okay. So. Also notice in our video specific haters that usually have other hateful comments to the Colonel, regulars and other podcasts attached. Yeah, they attacked me because they are small-minded people who have accomplished nothing in life. Thank you for the 70 Rand, Heidi, who have accomplished nothing in life. I have visited hundreds of people who seem quite happy with the information that I've been able to provide, the analysis and the accurate predictions of what was going to happen for the past, over 1 year for the refugee program. These are people that want money. These are people that are grifting. These are people who are latching on to people who've lied to people. So I really don't want to get into Miss Heartburn right now, but if I have to make a video about all her lies about me, then I'll do it. But we're not going to do that right now. So. Anthony Nodia says the potki are the best, especially the oxtail. I'm shocked. I enjoyed the lamb too, Dylan. Thank you, Heidi, for the second 70 Rand super chat. I'll see what they say in a moment. If and when you have time to watch the video, it's about an hour long and X. Are you talking from Miss Heartburn? 4,000 Rand for tickets from P to Pretoria for an interview. Yeah, that's not cheap. Oh, Heidi just gave super stickers. Thank you. Obviously, okay. You're welcome, Joe. There's quite a few people that will have medical expiring in May, and I've not heard a thing on their cases. Well, it's Marlise Hayes. It's normal in the course of refugees. It's happened here with South African refugees, but the South Africans have this unrealistic expectation of how things go. That is quite a normal situation. People in the Dadaab camp in Kenya, fled from Somalia, oftentimes do medicals multiple times. It's unfortunate, but that's the process, sadly, sometimes. Some South Africans had to redo medicals. That's true. Contact information for the lady in Johannesburg Office Accommodation. I have no idea where that's at right now, Dark. I do not know where it's at now, but I did have information. I could try to look for it, but I can't find it right now. Sent you a YouTube link in WhatsApp. Zimbabwean seems to be trying to redirect South. Okay, thank you for that, Kenya or Karen. Well, it may be bigger than just her. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. So, what is their problem? I mean, what is their problem? This is insane. Are they in collusion with the refugee agencies that are mistreating people and trying this stuff? I really don't understand that. Your friend is waiting. It's been a month since interviews. A month since interviews? My friend flies in a few minutes, and he's been waiting since February last year when he was part of the pilot project. It was last week for second interview. Told someone there. He told me you're old and he's retired. So I told him, old retired? Who's retired and who's old? Oh my goodness. Wow. See, people come and watch the content. They see what's actually here. People meet me. They actually meet me. But liars, leugners and betrügners and verraaiers just spread their rumors and myths and lies. The problem is we've exposed too many frauds. We've exposed too many frauds. Just like the Scorpions. The Scorpions went after ANC politicians and then they had to be removed. Leonard McCartney and the Scorpions had to be disbanded because too many ANC politicians were caught in corruption and they couldn't have that. So they got rid of the Scorpions. And then the Chicken Hawks weren't allowed to investigate ANC politicians for the most part. So I've exposed too many frauds and too many liars and too many stealers and too many people who give false information, and therefore apparently I'm becoming a target of these people. Well, that's fascinating, to say the very least. But I'll tell you what, I have the resources to hire attorneys. I don't feel the need. I'd just rather let these people be. But if they want to persist, then they'll find regrets. Redid your medicals Friday, 2 days expired. Okay, Joe, thanks for sharing. Doing a job interview on Wednesday. Okay, Veroshka, that's good news. Apologies, Colonel. Just in awe with the difference in cases. Almost hit a year now and still waiting. Well, Pat, no need for apologies. I'm not sure what you're apologizing for. No. Well, my friend was in the proof of concept, the first 100, February last year. Went to Pretoria. He's only arriving tomorrow. Assuming he gets on a plane tonight. Yep. Been waiting since September. Medicals expired in April. I wish I only waited a month. No offense taken, JSA. Lambriani. Just basmati rice. Huh. Yeah, good luck, Veroshka, in your interview. That'd be awesome. No, we've already had people who spread in their WhatsApp groups. See, here's the other problem. These WhatsApp groups are they're little virus propagators. People spread nonsense and lie about things. And I think the reason this is starting is because the people who fraudulently claim that there's a group from September and October who've been ignored, that they've been lumped together and they're intentionally being ignored. I mean, why would somebody do that? It makes no sense. And there's no evidence of that whatsoever. And I've said no such group exists. I met half a dozen people in Buffalo and Erie who were in the September and October, and it came over. And yesterday in Harrisonburg, I met people who had their tickets canceled in October because of the government shutdown. They're here. They've been here for a month. Another one had been here for 2 months. So yes, there are people still back there, but people don't want to hear what they want to hear. So they're going to attack me. Well, foot sec. Grow up, get a pair, put your big boy plants on. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, so they don't like what they're hearing, so they're going to go defame me and disparage me in these groups. The other thing, as I said, stay out of the groups. The groups are just toxic, and and that's exactly what's happening here. So I'm getting defamation of character by these people. But my record stands for itself. The videos are there. The videos are there. My good deeds are there. The food we raise for people through food socks to feed people who are hungry, who are starving, who didn't have tickets anymore. The accommodation we found for the people, those records are there. The money we raised for the deaf girl, the money we did for Lynn's Baki a few years ago, all the things that we've done, we as a group have done to help people and that I've facilitated and led are all there. They're all there. Carl says, I have explained to FSG, I have explained for SG is that highly appreciate the extent to both gentlemen of the integrity you both possess. Thank you very much. And that's why I'm being attacked, because of my integrity. But, these people will get their comeuppance. Stefano Forte of the New Yorker. Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to do it, Mario, but you got to put me in contact with him. Yeah, sure. Heard on a documentary today that apparently Carl Niehaus met his wife in prison. I didn't know that, okay? Don't want to go on, but I have to, says Ingrid. Okay, online class. Okay, enjoy your class. We're sending out resumes while we wait for a response for refugee program, okay? It's on Instagram. Told the guy to stop lying and tell the truth. Yes, El Marie, and I forgot about the help for Christopher. Yeah, I mean, look, we forgot about that. And look, I mean, we've helped so many people over the past 6 years. It's insane. I can't remember all this stuff. We've done so many things. Heidi says, if they badmouth me, don't tell them not to talk bad about their cult leader. What did Vilma say? Vilma said, it's on Instagram. Well, here's the thing. The more they lie about me, the deeper the hole they dig for civil prosecution. Also, some of them are trending into criminal activity by doing this. But beyond that, folks, the more they talk about me, the more people are curious who don't know. And they'll come here and they'll see the truth. So, you know, it's a fool's errand to disparage people when there's no merit to it. There's no merit. What are they accusing me of? First off, anybody watch the stuff? What have they been accused of? Yeah, exactly. Does the very thing I'm accused of. I was falsely accused of making money off refugees. And I said, I don't make money off refugees. And then, well, the argument is, well, he makes money off advertising. Yeah, like every other YouTube channel, it's monetized. This is a news and entertainment channel. I cover refugee stories. What's your point? Yeah. So then the very person who accused me of making money off refugees is now trying to make money off refugees by building a boarding house and asking you for money to buy the house so that she can house refugees. Anyway, yeah, look, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. Well, that's. I don't even know who JD Gray is. I don't know who that person is. Someone showed me X. It's got tiny following. Just another troll. Exactly. So what exactly am I accused of doing here? That's someone. Please tell me. Yeah, they're just trying to glom off my reputation. What exactly am I accused of? I was accused of not having the full story in the Family of Nine. But unfortunately for that person lying about me, the Family of Nine wasn't what the video was about. The video was about South Africans threatening to go back to the States or having gone back to the States. And I was correct. I talked about 3 families. And I even talked about the lady who went back already. And then the next day, after I was attacked in the video, I made another video in which I pointed out the information I was already aware of, which the story had not been released, so I didn't disclose it. From Ted Hessen, from Reuters, talking about 4 South Africans had gone back already. That was the purpose of the story, how you're undermining the program and how it's foolhardy, and then you must not have been a victim of racial persecution. If you're willing to go back to South Africa, now the exception I'll make in this is the family that got here and a week later had a death in the family. Maybe they're coming back. And maybe the State Department gave them special permission to go back for the death. So I don't know the story on that one, but I do know they were going back. So that's what the story was. And then it gets twisted and turned. So what exactly did I get wrong? So the argument, the attack on me came later that, well, I'm not a real journalist and I don't do my investigation. But in fact, the person making the accusation attacked the lady, Marianne, who created a website, a closed community for people to share information about this. Now, Marianne made the mistake of not updating me and telling me she was going live with the site. So when it came up, I didn't know anything about it. So I actually went on the website of that other content person and said, thank you for revealing this. I was unaware of it. And then she attacked me again for complimenting her. Anyway, so what am I being accused of here? Nothing credible. Nothing. Not a damn thing. There's nothing here. So if people just want to be disrespectful and rude and they want to lie about people, that's just their sad nature. They're vindictive, evil people. There's nothing here. Wants to house refugees. Right, Veroshka? Can my taste work? I was asked to give feedback about my experience. My writing is saying take out a clipboard and fake questions to make sure they don't screw me. I'm not sure what truth you're saying there. Dale says, wow, this is a brilliant live stream. The people in chat are awesome. Hosts feeling blessed to have a stream show. Well, Dale, I'm blessed that the algorithm showed it to you. Please become a subscriber. You can also join me on my U.S. News channel, which gets a lot less attention, at Real Chris Wyatt. Yeah, you're an open book. Yeah, exactly. They all hide behind things. See, that's the other thing. They're all attacking me, but here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't hide stuff. So this is a matter of I'm a public figure. So, they want to attack me here. Let's just go look. So I've shown you this many, many times. Okay, here you go. This is, you can go find this. This is not a hidden secret. There you go. LinkedIn. Colonel retired, William M. Chris Wyatt. 10,000 followers plus on LinkedIn. Retired U.S. Army Colonel with extensive security sector and national development, education, field experience in Europe, Africa, Southwest Asia, North America. Specialties: foreign area officer, linguist, counterintelligence, counterterrorism, signals intelligence, education, international development, security assistance, security cooperation, security sector reform, HIV/AIDS, national security strategy, education, and training. Uber rugby fan and supporter. Yep. All right. So there you go. Yeah. Anchor, the Truth Report, principal and CEO of the Indaba Africa Group, radio host for the Common Sense Conservatives, television presenter, journalist, commentator, senior fellow of Presidian Consulting. Then education here. There you go. U.S. Army War College, Troy University, Ohio University, University of Maryland, degrees and all those. All right. Endorsed by these people. 30 people endorsed me for my skills. 22 endorsed me there. Recommendations from Komi Klue from Ghana, from John Black. Publications, 5 publications listed here. Honors and awards. Languages. So where's what I'm looking for here? I'm looking for something else here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, is the experience. I can expand that. Show all. Okay, so here you go. No secrets here. Senior fellow, advisor, reviewer for the Air Force Journal of European, Middle Eastern, African Affairs, which went defunct. That's why I'm no longer on it. Director of African Studies, U.S. Army War College for over 4 years. Department of Defense, 31 years as an officer, foreign area officer, chief of the Office of Security Cooperation Uganda. Senior Foreign Area Officer, J5, the Africa Command, Chief of Security Cooperation Mauritania, Chief of Security Cooperation Niger, Chief of Security Southern Africa Branch, Africa Command, Colonel, Senior Military Advisor, U.S. Mission to the African Union, Chief of Security Cooperation Botswana, Chief of Security Cooperation Liberia, Deputy Chief, Africa Division, Defense Intelligence Agency, Chief of Staff, National Security Agency, Foreign Area Officer, Tunis, Commander of Vicenza Military Intelligence Detachment, Professor of Military Science, Iowa State, Brigade S2, 1st Armored Division, Hanau, Germany, and the rest I didn't put on there. So, look, there's an open book. There's no secrets there. There's nothing untoward happening here. Exploiting refugees, that's just hilarious. How am I exploiting refugees? Please, somebody tell me. Somebody tell me how I'm exploiting refugees. Yeah, you were commenting on our channel deleted because they're just evil. Yep. No, their true intentions are not to help refugees. Their true intentions are to boost their egos and maybe make money off people. I don't know. I have no evidence of that, but certainly people asking for money would seem to be that. What do I tell people? I tell people all the time, don't super chat. What happened last night? There's a refugee in Cleveland that used to be in Erie named Buttman, Jared. He came on the channel last night, became a member, and super chatted me $10. I told him not to do it. So he super chatted me another $5. I told him not to super chat me. Unbelievable. Anyway. Nazi said, I was upset about it because I only discovered your channel less than a month ago. It's so informative and helpful. I don't see how you can profit off it. Well, Nazi, in the interest of full disclosure, my channel makes money off of memberships, and it makes money off of super chats, and it makes money off of advertising. I don't promote goods here. I've had lots of offers to promote goods. And in fact, I'm signed up for the program so that if Starbucks ever gets on there, then I can promote Starbucks. or if Gold Peak ever does something, I'll promote something I believe in. But the things I can promote, I don't believe in. So I don't do that. So yeah, I don't do that. So, but YouTube takes 45% of advertising revenue, and I don't have a problem with that. They create the entire ecosystem. They do the auction. They make the ads appear automatically, and they handle everything. So that's fair. All I do is create the content, which hopefully people find engrossing, informative, or entertaining, and they go there. So that's fine. They take 30% of memberships and super chats. That I have a problem with. The only reason memberships and super chats occur, in theory, is because of the talent or the interest of the host or the commentator or the content creator. So therefore, they're profiting directly off of my personality. They create the infrastructure, they store the videos and all that, and they make it happen. I got that. But 30% is excessive. I would think 15% would be more than enough. 30% is more than an agent gets. Sports agent doesn't get 30%. So I think that's a bit much. Also, the way that they do revenue is unfair because super chats are, in essence, a tip. It's not revenue, it's a tip. And tips aren't taxable in America. But when I get my 1099 what is it called? The 1099, the form for consulting income. I will get that as income rather than tax exempt, which kind of sucks. But that's just. She said you suddenly gained so many followers since refugee program opened all those followers. Opining all those followers, refugees, next exploitation. That's exploitation? How is that exploitation? Also, I didn't gain. So she's an idiot. She's an idiot if she said that. I didn't gain all these followers. First off, I had 23,000 followers in 5 months on my original channel, and it was destroyed by YouTube. People know the story here. People been around, they know the story. Thank you, Fonz, for the $5. See, you were just exploiting. Yeah, by the way, Mad Max isn't on the program today because he's busy hiding the containers for the human trafficking that's going on. Anyway, so I had 23,000 subscribers in 5 months. Reporting on South Africa. There was no refugee program in 2020. I was reporting on South Africa and news around the world and gained 23,000 subscribers in 5 months. Then YouTube took my video away because idiots false reported things, and they had a leftist running the program who didn't review people's stuff. So my channel was taken away. Started a new channel, and after 4.5 years, this is open book too. I freely admitted this stuff, and so I had 20,342 subscribers on December 31st of 2024, and I'd kind of almost given up on the channel actually ever doing more, and that was fine with me. Small channel, loyal audience, good to go. January of 2025, I went from, and I showed you the chart. I put it on the screen. We can do this again. See, this is where these liars that don't know what they're talking about. So, also, if I'm exploiting refugees, there's more refugees now than there ever were before. More refugees now than there ever were before. But I'm not gaining subscribers. I've gained 25,000 subscribers in about a year. It's just comical. So let's do the count here. Live count. Okay, so 2025. All right. Okay, so I gained subscribers when Trump came back in office, but look at this. Now, 125,880 subscribers. So here you go. There you go. January 1st, 20,533 subscribers. I know it's small on your screen, but you can take my word. So through January, it's pretty steady. And then Trump went in office and it started growing February 7th. On February 7th, when Trump made his announcement, which is already February 8th when I went online, so for South Africans, so they wouldn't have come out until February, 32,000. So I gained 12,000, not 15,000. I misspoke. And then from there, slowly, from there, this is all during the refugee thing, and I get 80, 90,000. I hit 100,000 right there on June 4th. June 4th, 100,050 subscribers, June 4th. All right. Since then, if I'm exploiting refugees, where the hell are they at? So, nothing. And those people subscribed because of my news. And they've stayed. They haven't unsubscribed. So, exploiting, this is just not, this is childish, these people. Absolutely childish. Look forward to your videos. She doesn't know the definition of exploitation. Don't even know what her beef is with you. Her beef with me is that she's just a patent liar. This all started last year when, people that are convinced that they're right about everything. See, I've been told I'm a know-it-all. But people are convinced. But yesterday, is anybody here that was in Richmond yesterday? Twice I misspoke yesterday. Twice once about Trump's savings program for babies, but I misspoke and told the wrong story. And somebody said, but isn't that just for kids? I'm like, you're right. So twice yesterday I said in front of 25 people, well, I'm wrong. I made a mistake. Twice in front of people live. So, but some people are convinced that they know everything, and this person's convinced they know everything. So last year in my video, I stated, see, they all came in my video so they could steal my content and pretend they're making fresh content. But last year she came to my video and I said that that asylum is fool's errand. And see, that's a problem. Apparently this person fancies himself as an expert on asylum, and they've been helping South Africans since 2018. Well, I've been helping South Africans since the 1980s, so I don't really know what the difference is there. I don't care. Anyway, exactly. When you started, we only had 20,000 subscribers. So last year, in the summertime, I think it was, I never even heard of this person. And I was getting these people coming in saying that they're going to apply for asylum. I said, asylum is a bad idea. It's a fool's errand. Over 90% of asylum cases are denied. And I even looked up the South African cases. I looked up the number of South Africans who had been approved. It was only 12 South Africans got asylum out of like 100 people that applied. Nobody gets asylum. Take advantage of me if you want. Amazing Odd Destinations. Thank you for joining TiBot. So I said it's a fool's errand. And then the topic came up and I said, well, one of the reasons why it's a fool's errand is you cannot work. When you arrive here as an asylum seeker, you're not legally allowed to work. That statement was taken and a video was made about me, and I was called a liar and I'm misleading refugees. That's not true. It's not true. I didn't lie. The law says you cannot work as a refugee when you arrive here for 5 months, 150 days. After 150 days, you can apply to work. And at 6 months, you can be approved, but it's not guaranteed. All right. So I said, that's one reason why you don't want to be asylum seeker. So that person made a video about me and lied. So I made a video and said, no. And then I made the video, oh, he's picking on a woman. He's a misogynist. Hey, sweetheart, you picked on me. You lied about me. You made a video about me. I didn't know who the hell you were. You lied about me, so I made a video about it and told the truth. And then the next thing was, what was the other thing? That so the conversation was questioned about green cards. And I said, well, refugees can apply for green cards at the 12-month point. In fact, not only can they must apply in order, otherwise they jeopardize the refugee status at some point. So the law says refugees can apply after 12 months of continuous residence here. So in fact, if the people who were in Twin Falls that went home that Reuters reported, that I also covered, then the family and I know, the people in Twin Falls, those people who went back to South Africa, if they're coming back here after the family illness or death, their clock would have to restart in theory, legally, because they went back to South Africa for a week or 2 weeks or a month. They come back here, their clock has to start again. So they wouldn't be able to apply for green card, in theory, until 12 months of continuous residency here in America. I said that's the case. That person made a video and said I'm a liar. You can apply for a green card anytime. That's bullshit. You can't apply for a green card anytime. It doesn't work. You cannot do it. Now, somebody told me they applied for one. Good on you. Good on you. But that's not what the law says. That's not what the law says. The law says you must apply 12 months, and you cannot apply until you've spent 12 continuous months here as a refugee, obeying our laws and being here. And so that was another video the person made about me. Then the person made a video and said, well, he's making money off refugees. And I said, no, I'm not. Then they changed the story to say I'm making money off ads. Well, I make money off ads on my rugby channel. What's your point? Anyway, it's just, look, these people are sick. And the sycophant, look, there's always South Africans that follow people like this. Look at the people who gave all their money to Van der Merwe, who claimed he had a list. I warned you about that on February 7th last year about frauds. I warned you about frauds, and I've made many videos about frauds. Told you be careful. I mean, the only place you can go, and don't believe me, go to za.usembassy.gov. Everything you need to know about the program is right there. The application, the intake questionnaire, the directions on what to do, it's all there. You don't have to believe me. I give you the receipts. If I'm exploiting refugees, why am I burning through my life savings traveling around the country to help refugees? Why am I doing that? The problem is their egos are hurt because I have traction, because I have influence, because I'm able to accomplish things that they can't accomplish. Yeah, Corey is saving thousands of rand because it doesn't even bother to use DSTV because my rugby channel, which is free. For more than a year, these idiots is getting a bit old. Will they ever learn the lesson tonight? Well, they won't learn their lesson, Sigi, but I'll tell you what, the scumbag in Erie, he's going to learn a lesson the hard way. Right. People make mistakes, but I don't lie. Exactly. I don't lie. And rarely do I make a mistake. See, I haven't been ranting enough lately. I've noticed myself making a few slip-ups, starting to worry. Maybe I'm getting up there. But I realize I'm just burning the candle at too many ends. But when I do my rants, boy, my brain gets laser focused. Laser focused. I tell you, I have no trouble. My head clears. It's like, all right, rant mode, gin it up. All the dust and smoke is blown out the ears, comes out of the brain, and now we're clear. Clear thinking. Yep. Oh, yeah, the birth certificates debate. Then the pet debate. All the lies about that. All the lies about that. The people lied about the pets. And they were all wrong. Not one of them came back and apologized. Not one of them. Remember the pet thing? Pet Lift. I interviewed Morgan from Pet Lift. But before I interviewed her because people kept making us think of a pet. So I'm like, well, it only costs $200. And said, shipping pets back. I said, well, you have to ship your pet back. You have to ship your pet to America. This isn't a refugee program for pets. We're not Noah's Ark. Is that harsh? No, it's just a reality. It hurts your feelings, then put your sissy pants on and grow up. The reality is we don't pay for pets, the government, because it's not an evacuation program. We're not Noah's Ark. We're saving people, human beings. So you have to get your pets here on your own. Most refugees don't bring pets here. I mean, they come from Somalia or from Sudan or from Myanmar. They don't bring pets with them. They leave them behind. South Africans cherish their pets. I get that. But if you want to bring it over, you do it at your own expense. I said that from the very beginning, and I've been correct. Also, I said from the very beginning, it's very expensive. Ask anybody who's tried to find out. So in my chat last year in August, I think it was, somebody came in, was asking about pets, and I said, well, it's expensive. It costs a lot. It costs thousands of dollars. And they said, no, it doesn't. You're a liar. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars. It's only $200 to ship a dog to America. I'm like, What the hell are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Are you high? I don't think I said that. $200. There's no way it costs $200. There's no way. And their feelings were hurt because I refuted their lie. So they went into their little groups and started lying about me. Oh, that Colonel Wyatt, he's lying to refugees. He's deceiving people. No, I just told you the truth. I shipped my cats from South Africa, from Linwood East or from Pretoria East. Cost me $3,000. 2 cats. Thank you for your membership, Cruise of Phoenix. 2 cats. $3,000. I shipped them over. It cost me more than that. $4,800, something like that. But they went through South Africa to Botswana. There's no way it costs $200 to ship a dog. Thank you, Daisy, for the 199 Rand super. Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never seen that one before. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that. Wow. And so they ran around little groups and lied about me. And little Project X and Pet Lift and people were in there spreading rumors about me lying. I told you the facts. Then I interviewed Morgan. And Morgan came on the program and she said, well, Colonel Wyatt, what the $200 is that we have negotiated, Pet Lift, have negotiated a bulk rate for the titer test, which is something dogs have to have. I think titers for rabies, am I correct? Anyway, the titer test you have to have as a dog. So the titer test must be done, and they're expensive. So they negotiate a rate that's $200. That's what the $200 is. Because these people hear what they want to hear. Leista, Mensa, leista, leista. They don't listen. So they come in here and attack me because they're convinced they're right. They're not right. They're wrong as a day is long. They come in, they attack me on my channel. They're rude in the chat. And I refute their lies, and that hurts their feelings. So they run around and lie about people. It's ridiculous. Claudette Prinsloo. One of my mods will put the email address in there for you. Nazi, I'm enjoying this exploitive and misinformed lie, but I have to leave now. Hey, Nazi, thanks for being here. There are idiots everywhere. Hey, Mark. How you doing, Mark? Thanks for taking some of ours. We have taken a few of yours, Mark. Theo says, if it costs $200 to ship a dog, then from today I'm a dog. Is it only $200 to ship a dog? Fine. Arf! Arf! That's a hell of a lot cheaper than a plane ticket. A hell of a lot cheaper than a plane ticket. We're all dogs today. Well, look, Nota Beloy said we're dogs, right? Nota Beloy, and apparently that wasn't racist. The captured South African Human Rights Commission didn't say that Nota Beloy's comments were racist. He just had to apologize. He gave a lame apology. Well, I'm forced to read this apology. I'm sorry, terribly sorry for what I did. Yeah, he called white people dogs. So apparently we can fly in the cargo hold for $200. Well, world celebrates stupidity. Stupid people, yeah. Woof, woof. Oh, it's not rude, Martin. You can get pets here very inexpensively. Yeah. Apparently someone tanked Morgan's hopes when they really wanted to find. Yes, no, I know, Cruiser. I know. Morgan's operation was undermined by people. Juanita says, I work for Bloody Airline. It does cost thousands of dollars, Colonel. Correct. Of course I'm correct, Juanita, but the damage done. See, this is why my channel stalled. Because the algorithm was feeding it last year, so they've achieved what they wanted. They've stalled the growth of my channel. Yeah, good for you. Well done for you. But I'm not here for you. You ferrayas. I'm here for my loyal audience. And when it was 20,000, I was here. And at 125,000, I'll be here. And at 2 million, I'll be here. So, you know, it's, yeah. Of course I was right, Juanita. Thank you. I was right last year. And they were rude and disrespectful to me in my chat. And then they ran around and lied about me. Just like they're lying about me now. Yes, I won the new t-shirts on. Correct. Well, it's Freedom Day. So I thought I'd celebrate freedom in South Africa. There's a big one on the back. Lizette, how's it going? Who let the dogs out? Your cats are going to identify as dogs. People do listen, but they only hear what they want to hear. No, then they're not listening, Fleshin. You hear something, but when you listen, you comprehend, you understand. There's a difference. You have 2 verbs for that in French. Apparently Neanderthals had bigger brains. They did. Neanderthals had larger brains than Homo sapiens. Nota had his assets frozen in the U.S. Seems like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he had assets here. Where'd you hear that at, Meerkat? That's interesting. Andre says quality over quantity. Well, I do a lot of quantity too, brother. I do a lot of quantity. I mean, I've got more videos than most people. A lot of my viewers are frustrated. They can't keep up with my videos. Hearing Afrikaans words with American accents, awesome. Well, okay, Dale. Okay. Ik praat nie Afrikaans nie, maar ek verstaan. Chris, you are most definitely invited to our Spit in Texas week after our arrival. Okay. RVC, what's going on, man? You are a little bit late. I've been at this for like 2 hours, man. People attack when they fear the truth. You should listen, but listen, you need to be still. Yep. Colonel, can I ask you, look into my case? I would normally not ask, but it's been 14 months. Sigi, send me your case number and your information. If you've done that already, my apologies, but send me a new email or a new WhatsApp and let me know, okay? Andre says, oh, I mean your supporters. You do more than your part. Yep. Thank you, Angelique. Good night, Niki's voice box. Guy says, do you think you will become less busy if the refugee program once the program process stabilizes? No, I won't become less busy. There'll still be people reaching out to me 2 or 3 years now with a question about the refugee program, and they've been here for 2 or 3 years. It's going to, no. Yeah, Feria's Day. There you go, Carl Rasmus. That's what you can call today. Feria's Day. I'm for away. What's this? Ons het die grond verwieding aan Boergelien. Okay. Kool-Aid had a scoop on Nota's assets. Oh, no, I don't know anything about that. So Kool-Aid had. Okay, that's cool. That is a scoop. That is a scoop. Interesting. Huh. Wow. That's pretty cool. Sigi, yeah, send me something. Yeah, I'm getting a little frustrated with some people been here a long time. Not with them, but with their cases. So, yep. Anyway. Andre just gave out 5 membership. Wow. Okay, he keeps saying HP sent me, but I don't know who HP is. I have nothing from him. Okay. All right. So I don't have anyone named HP as a. HP must be someone else. So they're gonna have to send me something, tell me they're HP because I don't know who that is. All right. Ooh, what's going on? Oh, membership's coming in. Okay. When Colonel Chris Wyatt said, Leicester. Thank you very much, Theo. Yeah, Ready to Libya. Is Ready to Libya on her way home? She'll probably turn into I was coming home away. A 4 away means I'm good. I don't know. RVC, that's news to me. That's colloquial use. I've never seen a 4 away. That's news to me. I didn't know that. I learned something. There you go. My 2 sons are 2 weeks in Tampa and both got jobs today, getting on with their day. Well, congratulations, Ninny, to your sons. Okay, people hear what they want to hear. You're right, Mark. They do. They do. And a number of my viewers who were loyal viewers from the original days heard something that they wanted to hear, not what I said, not what I intended. They got pissed off and they footsec. They left the channel, and I won't mention names. And some of them come back eventually. And that's fine. People aren't required to watch my content. I'm not holding anyone's arms. I'm not putting zip ties on anyone. I would like to put zip ties on a few people, on their mouths, but none of my viewers. Spartan, you can email me. What should I put in the subject line? Spartan, I don't know what's about. And I've got probably about 1,000 emails from my trip that I haven't looked at yet. So I'm not sure. Just put Spartan so I know that it's you. Okay. Put your, so I know that's you. Spartan guy in this subject line. HP sends one of your mods. Well, one of my mods, okay, so I've got Chris Swanepoel and Chris. I get confused. Chris, if you're listening, please in your WhatsApp, tell me which Chris you are because I get very confused. Maybe I'm getting old and senile, but tell me which Chris you are so I can save it in my address book because it just says Chris. Okay? Oh, Kool-Aid used the C word in a title. Wow. Angelique, I'll try. See, okay. When Chris types like that, I fear an Ike. Yeah, well, there might be one coming up. Maybe you can answer this question. If your Medicaid expires and your chronic meds cannot afford it, what will happen then? Debbie, I don't know the answer to that one. I wish I had the answer. States have programs. Each state, many of them have programs to help people that are indigent. That would be the case there. But I don't understand why your Medicaid would expire after. You see, that's the thing I don't understand with refugees. They say refugees get Medicaid for 1 year, but they don't get after that. But Americans who are permanent residents, once you get a green card, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't get Medicaid. because you don't have the income. You only get Medicaid if you don't have income or you're below a certain threshold. Look, the whole Medicaid thing is all screwed up right now anyway. I met a family with a child who has type 1 diabetes who nearly died because of no medication, because they weren't put in a program, because their callous, uncaring refugee case officer didn't do anything for them. Then I met another child, an infant, well, 2 years old I guess she is, who they got sorted and she's taken care of, but she nearly died. They didn't have Medicaid, and so one family ran up $2,000 in medical bills that they shouldn't have to pay, but that's now the debt that's theirs because their case officer didn't take care of it. This is very concerning. I asked that family to send me those details. Also, I uncovered in Richmond. Now I can't confirm this. This is what refugees are telling me, so I'll make a video about this. But I uncovered in Richmond a family that asked for the itemized list of all their expenses that are being paid for on their behalf by the agency. The agency refused flat out to give them that. That's illegal, by the way, according to ORR. They must provide that under their contracts. So there's a problem, number one. Number two, they saw it on there, and on there they saw that like $900 was transferred to some other family. No. That's their money. You can't do that. That's a crime. That is a crime. I also uncovered several anecdotal stories of racist and bigoted behavior against South Africans, and a case of a case officer who quit working for an agency because they were angry. This is a refugee, came from the third world, not a white person. They're angry that South Africans are being treated differently by their agency than other refugees, and so they quit. I misunderstood the story. I got it backwards when they explained it to me. Then they explained it to me and I understood it. Wow, good on that agent. Taking it easy is not in your vocabulary. Yeah, I know, Juanita. I don't take it easy. Sitting around and gaining weight and doing nothing and become sedentary. The sinews and joints don't work. I mean, it's been really painful for me personally to not be able to exercise twice a day like I used to. So I keep busy doing other things. Trevor Noah's assets were attached. Really? Wow. What's this about? I haven't heard that story. Okay, that's real money there. Strange days in the Eastern Cape. Thank you, Sigi. Okay. How was the guy in Texas that needed counseling help as he was struggling a bit? I don't recall who that is, Card. Interviewer told me to apply for unabridged in case it gets required. Okay. All right, well, why not? I mean, what's the cost you? What's the harm and foul? Yep. 14 months. Angelique, thank you. 14 months, you're a star. Thanks, guys. I've applied. Okay. Okay, we applied December. Okay. All right, cool beans. Oh, Trevor Noah, South Africa's joke of the year. He's definitely a joke. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. So I'll go back and look at the screenshots that I got, but I didn't see any. Super Chat's not working. It happens, Knights of Justice. It does happen. It's with my channel. It happens quite a bit. A lot of people want to Super Chat, and it doesn't happen. I don't know why. But it's not just here. I've seen it on other channels too. But it happens a lot on my channel. Maybe just a lot of people want to Super Chat, and that's why I notice it. Anyway, and they can't. All right, guys, thanks. Take care of yourselves. Night Owls later tonight. If there's any breaking news, I'll do a story. But I've got work to do, including checking emails, okay? Andre Giant, I'll try to check out the under 20 highlights if I have time. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Cool beans. Take care. Be well. All right. Thank you all very much. Again. Hey, Tertius, thank you for 35 Rand. You're very welcome. Marlisa Hayes, thank you, Mr. Wyatt. Fadia, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. It's really a pleasure to work with people. The nasty people could go elsewhere, but those who are nice people are welcome. Cheers.